I think they're on two levels. On the international level, it's certainly the way international trade, international investment, international finance is organized, what we call the international economic architecture. It recreates poverty on a daily basis by the way people are working in global value chains, by the way people are selling their agricultural products, etc. That's one part. The other part is, of course, within the countries themselves. It's the social hierarchies, it's the lack of access to resources of production, it's the difficulties in getting good quality services in terms of education or health or water and sanitation. And again, it's the hierarchies in society that lead to social exclusion for many communities, for women, for children, for people in old age, that make it a recurrent issue that poverty gets recreated from day to day. I think to this day, decent work, access to decent work for adults is probably the prime way to address poverty. Decent work in the sense so many people are working and are terribly poor, so it's a question of having decent wages, of having social security or social protection systems, of having a say at the workplace, of having workplace rights, workplace security and safety as well. So I think decent work is the first central measure. I think it is interesting to observe how we've become more and more complacent about unemployment, so I really think the decent work agenda has to be revalorized. I think part of that might be looking at remunerating forms of work that so far are done for free, care work, work in the climate, preservation, conservation movements, even volunteerism. Maybe it would be new sources of employment that would be dignified and provide decent work and decent income, predictable incomes. The other strategy that's extremely important and complementary to that, of course, is social protection. There's a big movement for a universal social protection floor, which was adopted as a convention or as a recommendation by the ILO 2 years ago. And that is about having something like a minimum income for every person on the planet, as well as access to education and health services and other social and public goods. The SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, are a new era, I hope, in the history of UN-based inter-country development commitments. And there are many positive elements in it, such as looking at inequities in countries and between countries and trying to address them, putting much more emphasis both on decent work and on the empowerment of women to key issues in poverty and social exclusion. The SDGs will only work, however, if the financing is forthcoming, both in countries through tax reform and international through more official development assistance to be able to finance climate change and mitigation, climate change adaptation and mitigation expenditures that countries will have to shoulder, and if all the other expansions of social services, of public goods, of political goods are to be implemented.